Welcome to my dad's podcast. It is called Up and Adam. Oh, and my mom's on it too.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Up and Adam podcast. My name's Adam. We appreciate you listening on whatever platform you're listening on. We're on a bunch: Apple, Spotify, Libsyn, wherever you want to find us. We also appreciate you for following our social media, Up and Adam Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, not Twitter, Instagram, Facebook specifically. That's where we post a lot of great stuff. We're back for episode, I believe this is number 15. And as always, I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Adam.
We are back. We've been out for a while. And so you'll have to excuse the first portion of this show. Will probably be pretty self-indulgent. We're going to talk a little bit about our travels this past week, Stephanie. We have returned. We were out. We were vacationing. We were hobnobbing. We were enjoying all the spoils of life. And so we should update our faithful listeners, all 32 of you last week, on exactly what it is that we've been up to.
Yes, I'm ready.
Great. Your contributions thus far have been fantastic. It's actually funny. This is the time where you talk the least of any of the times in our life. Like, you're typically just like blabbing away in the kitchen about something when no one's listening to you. But when you've got a captive audience who's downloaded the show to hear you talk, you say, thanks, I'm ready.
Because you do enough talking for both of us.
Because if I don't, then they're going to hear this. And that's called silence. All right. We went to Hawaii, Stephanie.
We did.
Was it all you'd hoped it would be?
Yes.
Okay. Can you expand a little bit more? What did you enjoy most about going to Hawaii? Give us your highlights of the trip.
Well, I love a good tropical location. So the palm trees, the turquoise water, the nice sand, some pools, some tropical drinks, stuff for our kids to do. Okay.
You enjoyed the scenery down there, I imagine?
I did.
How would you describe Hawaii for those who maybe haven't been or listening in and, are maybe planning a trip there in the next 5 years or so, which I would recommend. You probably need about 5 years to save up for how much that trip cost us. But how would you describe Hawaii for those who maybe aren't familiar?
So it did remind me of Florida beaches a little, but it had the mountains / it could have been volcanoes. I don't know. And the water was a little more turquoise. But it still reminded me of Florida, Fort Lauderdale beaches.
And what way? What do you mean?
Like the water, the sand, the palm trees.
The water, what was specific about the sand that reminds you of Florida sand?
It wasn't it was just sand.
Just sand, okay.
I actually like the texture of the Hawaii sand better than the Florida sand.
Hawaii sand texture better than Florida.
It was softer.
Hot take, okay. So softer sand. We did a lot of excursions too. We should fill some folks in on our excursion. So we mapped out. I think we talked about this last show. Stephanie was spending the better part of the last 60 days planning all these excursions out. And by and large, Stephanie, let me be the first to tell you, you did a pretty nice job.
Thank you.
We were able to get to all of our locations with relative ease. We were able to enjoy all the experiences. There were no hiccups, I don't think, on any of the ones we went on. We didn't know quite what we were getting into for most of them, but I guess that's the fun of it, right?
Yeah, and there were some things I wish I had known ahead of time to plan better, like how long it was going to cost, how long it was going to take, or what to bring with us. But overall, I think we had a really good experience.
Yeah, so let's how was the flight out there? So the first leg of the journey. Actually, let's back this thing up. We decided to forego the Monday morning traffic down to the San Francisco airport, which is just a cluster, and stayed in a little hostel right there by the airport. So we'd be up and ready to go first thing on Monday morning for our flight. So we drove down there Sunday. How would you describe your Sunday night in-town hotel experience?
It was not good. I it was a good idea, but it didn't work out the way I had planned.
Well, I think if we had not done that, we would have been in even bigger trouble.
Yeah, because you did say there were some fires and accidents.
Because there were some accidents and some fires that we would have had to, have woken up at 3:30 and been stressing the entire time on whether or not we'd get to the airport in time.
Yeah, instead we were up at 2:30, but no stress.
No stress. You don't take well to these. So since you're clearly not going to tell the story, I will. So Aiden, super excited. Our little guy, he's 6. very excited about being in a hotel, about going to Hawaii the next day. And he was just not ready to sleep. He was life of the party. He was having a grand old time. He wanted to talk to everybody. Lights were out, and Aiden just wasn't having any of that.
Yes, and then he did finally go to sleep at like 11:30, and at 2:30 he woke back up and could not go back to sleep. And our son, probably pretty weird for his age, he has to bang his head to go to sleep, just like some babies have to bang their head to go to sleep. He still does that. And him and I were in the same bed, and he literally banged his head off and on from 2:30 to 5 in the morning. And then finally at 5, he was like, I can't sleep anymore. I have to get up. And then the whole room was up. So we were tired.
We were tired, yeah. So we typically only get one room, 2 beds. The kids will not sleep in the same bed together. It's just a hard, fast rule. They would kill each other probably. So typically the parents, we each take a child. I started off with Aiden, and I feel like it was going well. And then, he was still awake. So I have the ability. So here's the problem with Stephanie. She, for whatever reason, she's always had just a thing about sleep. She worries more about sleep, her sleep, other people's sleep. She is just all consumed with the sleep situation. And so she just can't, like, that's her one button to push is just don't let her sleep or wake her up or wake up others. And that's just the one button that she just can't deal with. I
require like 7 hours at a minimum of sleep a night.
And so like I'm just chill with it. I'm like, hey buddy, it's okay. Let's go to sleep. And shut up over there, be quiet. I mean,
did not tell our child to shut up.
Stephanie is just going ape over there. So halfway through the night, he decides he wants to switch and he wants to then sleep with you. And so I go trudge over and I sleep with Addison. Not that didn't sound good, but Addison and I shared the room, and then you and Aiden shared your side, and then it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, very downhill. And then because of that, we were all tired. We were all cranky. And then on the plane ride, you had Aiden with you on the plane ride because he wanted to sit with Daddy so badly.
Yeah, he did.
And Adam lost his patience a little bit because he was tired and cranky. He was very antsy.
No, it's not that. So every 5 minutes, the kid wants something else to do. And he has like no concept of like others around him or anything else. So like, he's got his water on the tray table and he's coloring and he's like, I want my iPad, and like flips up the tray and like water's flying everywhere. Like he just has no concept of like stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was every 5 minutes he needed a coloring book. He wanted a snack. He had to go potty. He wanted his iPad. He wanted a game. He wanted to color again. He couldn't find a stuffed animal. So it was like every 5 minutes the kid needed something. And instead of just kind of like looking around for stuff, like he just starts moving stuff, like, just starts taking the water off the tray and, and just throwing stuff on the ground and getting his backpack out and just throwing stuff everywhere. The poor lady next to us.
Oh, yeah. She was trying to sleep. I felt bad for her.
That's right. Again, see, Stephanie always feels bad when you're trying to sleep. So Stephanie was just losing her mind.
I wasn't losing my mind. He wasn't next to me.
That's true. I was losing my mind.
I did take him the last hour and a half, though, so you could watch part of that movie.
Yeah, we then did a seat switch towards the end, and I believe he kept up those antics.
Yeah, he did. And then the whole rest of the day, we got there at like 11:30 in the morning, Hawaii time. So we still had a whole bunch of time left in that day.
A lot of time.
And our room was ready, which we were lucky.
Well, let's just stop right here now, shall we? Stephanie, was our room ready?
Well, no.
Well, no. Please explain. I'm confused.
They offered for us to do an upgraded room to a different tower for like $140. And that room was ready.
That was total, right? Or was that per night?
No, that was total.
Okay. Just making sure.
It was $30 more a night. And the room was ready. And it was closer to everything else in the hotel than all the way up at the front of the resort. So I said, let's do it without asking Adam.
Let's do it. Well, here's what I don't know. So one, magical job by whoever the checker-in person was, just conning you into that.
Yeah.
That happened a lot, actually, in this trip. B, we don't know what our other room would have been. So to call it an upgrade is really interesting because I have no concept for what the other room looked like, what the view was like, or how big it was, what was the shower situation. So it's really interesting that we called it an upgrade for some reason.
It's true, but both rooms are ocean view.
Sure. But again, a lot of other factors make a room. per se. So it's interesting that we decided to call that an upgrade. But we got the room right away, which was great. So we were all up in there. But can I get back to something before we get to the room? Just quick little memo to the good folks of Hawaii. If you're listening into the show, I'm not sure if they would be, but 1967 called. They want their airport back. Like, oh my God! Have these people never been to another airport outside of Hawaii? I mean,
it was odd.
Look, I understand that not every. Maybe I'm a little spoiled with airports. I don't know, but like, if you want to make your area like a destination for people to come vacation, that airport was just a bleep hole. I mean, it was just falling apart. It was just there was just stuff everywhere. It was construction. There was a bridge that apparently just stopped in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was not finished.
It was just quite an interesting airport situation.
And a lot of it was outdoors.
A lot of it is outdoors,
which is really weird.
Really weird. Yeah, I don't quite get it. Even when we came back on the way back from the hotel to leave Hawaii to come back to California, the security line starts outside for some reason. So you literally are outside on the sidewalk, and then you kind of weave your way inside. The bag drop line isn't really a line at all. It's kind of like two circles that sort of converge at one point. And they don't actually put your bags on the thing. They just like hold them off to the side. So I was like, oh, great. And those bags aren't getting back to California. Luckily, they did.
There was birds flying.
Birds were flying around. I mean, it was just an entire situation.
We should mention this is Honolulu.
It is the Honolulu airport. I'm not sure who's in charge of infrastructure down in Hawaii, but just maybe a quick little once over, a little 1-2 to the airport there wouldn't kill anybody.
Yeah, they've got to be making plenty of money tax wise.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know the fiscal situation in Hawaii, Honolulu specifically, but I feel like some airport upgrades are probably within reach. So they might want to check that out. So Monday we're there, not doing much. You guys were all pretty cranky. For some reason, our kids, we travel all the way across the world to a tropical location, and they want to stay in the hotel room. So, and actually, you did too, by the way. So that's what we did on Monday.
I wanted to nap.
A lot of time in the hotel room.
We went to the pool.
We did not go to a pool on Monday.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Or maybe it was the beach. Then Addison refused to put her bathing suit on.
You and Aiden went to the lagoon situation that was there.
Yeah.
But it was the rest of us did not want to go to the lagoon. We had no place to sit. It was like 9 million degrees outside at that point.
Actually, that first date was all overcast and not too hot.
Everyone just wants to go back to the room. Aiden just wanted to play with sand for hours. You had no control over that happening, so you just sat there while you played with sand for hours. It was and then you had to run back to get that work done. It was just an interesting Monday for sure. By Monday, I was ready to go home.
Yeah, he was so mad Monday night.
Ready to go home. Because we could have done everything that we did on Monday in Hawaii, we could have done here.
Yes.
I could go get it to like the Home Depot, get in some sand, put it in the driveway, and we'd have been all set. That's really the only difference. Get him some sand on the driveway. He could have made his sand castles, and we would have been all set.
Yeah, all Aiden needed for his vacation was a pile of sand.
For sure it was. So then Tuesday, we start off. We do a little walk around the area. We walk down the beach side. That was lovely. Took some lovely photos of the children. We walked down this little barge situation to sort of get out into the ocean. That was very lovely. That was very nice. We did that Tuesday morning, and then we headed off to our first excursion.
Yes, I can't say the name of that ranch.
Kualoa Ranch.
Kualoa
Ranch. And shout out to Jimmy from Indiana for the suggestion. That was Jimmy's idea. So we went down there, about an hour bus ride, and we decided to rent a UTV, which is sort of an all-terrain vehicle with all four of us inside. I don't know that we knew what to expect with a UTV. I was kind of like, okay, is this going to be fun or not? But that place was packed. Like, they had a bunch of different options. You could have gone zip lining. You could have gone on like a movie tour.
Horseback riding.
According to people, everything else was booked though.
Yeah. Well, I had booked this.
Of course, I know. 60 days ago. You
like
booked
3
everything.
weeks ago.
Yes.
But yes, other people said you couldn't just like come there and sign up. But one thing I do wish with the UTV thing is that we had known to bring bandanas like for our face.
Well, they had masks. You could put on like those surgical masks.
Which I'm the only one who wore one.
I wore mine on the way
halfway
back, the second leg of the trip. So you go out on this like bumpy, like rocky road. The ATV only go. Well, you're only supposed to go 15. Apparently, Aiden informed me at points I was going 18 and 19
yes.
On the ATV. He was very upset about me speeding on the ATV. And you follow this one dude through, wherever he's going. So it's trails, it's rocks, it's trees. You're bumping. There's sand and dirt flying everywhere. You're just constantly shaking and the whole ride is bumpy and whatnot. How to get used to driving that thing. Haven't ever driven a UTV before. I think I've picked it up pretty quickly though. No?
Yeah, you did fine.
Pretty smooth driving there. We didn't tip or anything. And then they stop you halfway through. So a lot of famous movies and TV shows are filmed at the Kualoa Ranch.
Jurassic Park.
A scene from Lost had been filmed there apparently. Some scenes from 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore had been filmed there. Unfortunately, I've seen probably like none of those movies except for 50 First Dates. Everyone else was like really intrigued by Jurassic Park. There was one other one that was filmed there that I've never seen before in my life. But we got out, Steph, and we got to kind of walk around for a few minutes, and pretty righteous views from where we were at.
We were up in the mountain, and you could see the ocean down below. It was all green.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Ocean, green, all that good stuff. I should also note before, so it's a UTV. It's an all-terrain vehicle. There's no doors or windows. I mean, there's doors per se, but there's no windows. So it's an open
no windshield
situation. And they obviously, for safety purposes, they want you to wear a helmet. So they have these line of helmets inside of the little room there, and they say, hey, go in there, pick a helmet, one that fits you, put it on, and get ready to go. And so I want you to picture for myself, Addison, and Aiden, we all picked out like the current bicycle style helmet, little oblong shapes, got like holes in there for ventilation. It's your typical, like you see if you were looking outside right now and saw like a kid riding his bike, he'd probably have this style helmet on. For reasons known only to Stephanie, we turn around and she's got on like an army sergeant's helmet, like just a one round giant black dome, just on top of her
the
head.
Other group hadn't come in to take off their helmets, and that was the only one on the shelf when I picked it out.
Yeah. And then for reasons known only to Stephanie as well, she decided, hey, let's take a picture together. None of us want to be seen in a photograph of her with this. So what does she do? She takes a selfie of herself, obviously, in that hat.
Yep.
That setup. Luckily, Addison knows her password and airdropped me that photo, so I have that now for all intents and purposes. At no point were you like, wow, I kind of look silly?
I think I would have looked silly no matter what helmet I had.
I don't know. I mean, yes, we all looked a little funny. There's some photos out there. I guess we can post a few of these on our Up and Adam podcast page if you don't know us personally. But there are some photos that we have out there that we'll kind of share what it looked like. You look like. So I actually posted a photo without you knowing about it, and it said, "My wife Stephanie about to be shot out of a cannon." Apparently, luckily, my dear sweet grandmother. And my dear sweet Aunt Linda actually thought you were getting shot out of a cannon. They were like, why would you guys sign up to get Stephanie shot out of a cannon? I'm like, I actually would sign her up for that, Graham. Unfortunately, that's actually not what happened.
That's funny.
So your attire actually fooled them into thinking that you were going to get shot out of a cannon, just so you know.
We should talk about the picture.
We should talk about the picture. So when we get to like a halfway point, essentially they take you off your vehicles and you can go walk around, take some photos, look at the sights. And the nice, lovely tour guide person, he's walking around to all the families and offering to take photos of everybody. And so, Stephanie, of course, sucker for a photo. She hands over the phone, and he's snapping a few photos. And so he looks over at us and he's like, "Okay, I want you guys all to look to the right, and I want you to pretend that this dinosaur is going to eat you." And in his left hand, he had put on like a glove that had like the shape of a dinosaur on it.
Which I did not see.
So he holds the camera up, he puts his glove in front of the camera, and then he takes a picture, and it's supposed to be us looking like this thing's eating us. So Stephanie, we get the picture back, and Stephanie looks at it, and she goes, "How did he do that? How did he add in the dinosaur afterwards?" So Addison and I don't quite know how to... The good thing about all these things, by the way, let me sidebar this quickly. The one good thing about Addison being 12 now is she gets it.
Yeah.
So she understands how foolish you are at times. And without her, nobody else... I could share this with nobody else other than her. So luckily she was there to experience this moment with me. As you said, "How did he get the dinosaur in there? That's silly." And we were like, "Steph, it was on his hand." And she was like, "What do you mean it was on his hand?" And then we showed her him taking pictures of the other people. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that." And by the way, you sold that face, man. That face, I'll put this one out there too if you haven't seen it. The face you made as we were acting as though the dinosaur was coming to get you, you sold that thing, babe. You sold it.
See, I could be an actress.
You could. I mean, if you had to speak, you wouldn't do that, but you sold that picture 1,000%. I also should back up. Tuesday was also another funny day for us too. So one of the things I hate most about traveling with you people is I hate sharing bathrooms. It's such your children just make a mess of a bathroom. There's water on the floor at all times, towels everywhere. It's just it's a fiasco. And so I go in there and I'm getting ready to get to the ranch. You told us all, by the way, we had to wear long sleeve pants and long sleeve shirts. And so we're dressed like we're going for winter. Everybody else tank tops and shorts, which is fantastic.
I just read the directions.
So, we're all sweating. We got long sleeves everywhere. We got, we're covered from head to toe, but everybody else was just wearing, t-shirts and whatnot. But anyway, so I'm in the bathroom. I've already got my, my full body armor on per your instructions. And I say to you, Stephanie, have you seen my contact lenses? And you said, they're in the bathroom. And I said, no, they're not, because I'm in the bathroom right now and my case is empty. I don't know where my contact lenses are. And so I look down. So I have a contact lens case. It is white and blue. And there's another one sitting on the counter that's white and green. So I open up that case, and what's inside of it are contacts. And so I walk out, and I say, Steph, have you seen my contacts? And you're like, nah, they're in the bathroom. I'm like, nah, I don't think they are, because all I see in there is this, green and white case. Is that yours? And you were like, yeah. I'm like, well, there are contacts inside. She's like, no, they're not. I have my contacts in. And I'm like, no, you have my contacts in.
Oh, that grossed me out so much.
So we started off Tuesday with Stephanie wearing my contact lenses for reasons known only to Stephanie. I can't. Luckily, Addison was there to help me witness this. Do you care to explain yourself on how the heck you ended up with my contact lenses?
I just assumed, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention and I grabbed the contact case and...
Now, do you use a white and blue colored contact case at home?
Yes.
You do. Okay. So perhaps, why did you bring a different color contact case then?
So the one that I brought was the one that came with the travel. It was like a new one that came with the travel contact solution.
Uh-huh.
So it was not my normal one.
Okay. Well, so Stephanie was able to extract my contacts from her eyes.
Clean them.
We had to clean those things out, and then I was able to get my own contacts in. So Tuesday did not start off well. So we had the contact lenses. Stephanie looked like she was shot out of a cannon, and she was afraid of the fake dinosaur she didn't see. So
and imagine, Adam was already mad from Monday's traveling and Monday night. Tuesday morning, starting off with his contacts in my eyes, he was really not happy.
Yeah, we were going home at that point. We were just heading straight to the house. There was one funny moment on the UTV though. So we're following this guy, and he basically says, stay pretty close to me or whatever, and do what I do. And so he's on like a single person UTV. We're in a four banger, if you will. And so he's just taking all these hairpin turns, left, right, up, down, center. Just quickly turn. No, there's no blinkers on these things, so you don't know like where he's going. And one time he takes a quick turn, and all of a sudden, like I see him stand up on his seat.
Like
he took his feet like off of, now the gas, if you will, is on the handlebar, right? So there's no gas pedal, but your feet obviously can sit on the sides there. He takes his feet off and like stands on his bike, and I'm like, why is this guy showing off? Well, I figured that out pretty quickly. We went down a little ravine into water, which I wasn't expecting. Luckily, we made it out alive on that one. Nobody got seriously injured or wet there, but that was an interesting little twist and turn we were not prepared for.
Yeah, that was fun.
Was there any moment in time you thought we might fall out of the UTV?
No, there was a moment in time where I thought you might run into the back of the guide.
Okay, he was going pretty slow, and apparently I was going fast.
Of the person in front of him that couldn't drive.
That's fair. Yeah,
because that person was with a different tour guide, and she could not drive.
That's true. Yeah, he had us like passing her at some point, which was actually kind of fun as well too. So overall, a good ranch experience. I think we enjoyed our time at the ranch. It was we got a lot dusty, very dirty. We didn't need head to toe covering, but it certainly maybe helped at some points. But overall, enjoyed Kailua Loa Ranch.
And I also enjoyed the ride there because you got to see more of Hawaii.
We did
in relaxation because we were like on a bus. We didn't have to worry about directions
but that traffic out there in Hawaii, my goodness.
Oh, it's all day long. It's not just like
who knew
in the morning and evening.
Yeah, who knew? Then we went back, went to a little pool in the afternoon there. I think we went to that little pool with the slides on there. Yeah. So we did a pool. The pools there, they're just packed all day. Like you can't get seating anywhere. We ended up stealing somebody else's seat apparently because then they were like shaming you into moving seats over or something afterwards.
No,
I'm
I
not
didn't
sure what
steal
happened
theirs.
there.
What happened was they found after we found a seat, those people around us left, and they split up these new people split up their party, and I saw they were split up, so I said, hey, do you guys want to sit together, and I'll just take your end one. I was being nice.
I don't understand the protocol too. So for those of you who, you know, travel often, or maybe you're at, you know, community pools or common area pools, people just put like their towel on the seat and disappear forever on all these chairs. And so these chairs are all taken like throughout the day, but like no one's ever sitting in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point is the protocol that I can just take that towel off that chair and be like, hey, sorry, buddy, you weren't here.
Yeah, like if you don't have flip-flops or anything there and it's just a towel, it's really annoying.
It really, there was a sign that said after an hour or something like that, like you couldn't reserve, you know, the chairs, but I feel like that would have been a pretty bad move.
Yeah.
On our part. And so Tuesday wound down pretty nicely. Wednesday.
Is Tuesday night also when we went, like we left the kids in the hotel? Just to go have a drink?
Nah, I don't think so.
Huh. I enjoyed
Actually,
that
it might have been Tuesday night. I think it was Tuesday night. Yeah, we went downstairs for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Addison was texting us like 45 times, so we went back upstairs.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we got a little cabana at the pool.
That was nice.
Your boy here, a big fan of cabanas. This one was a little bit disappointing. We mistimed a few things. So Stephanie had booked us to go to a luau at 5 in the afternoon, which I'll get back to. And so apparently they had 2 times for the cabana, 9 to 1 and 1 to 5. You initially booked 1 to 5, realizing, oh my goodness, now we have to be at the luau at 5. So we changed it to 9 to 1, which was okay. The pool was still pretty dead, but it was already shaded at 9, so we didn't really need the covering of the cabana. There were plenty of chairs around the common area of the pool, so we didn't need seating. The bar and restaurant was not open yet, so it's not like we could have gotten like food or drinks or anything at that point. So really, the first like hour and a half or so of the cabana was kind of a waste.
Yeah.
We had our own private refrigerator, though. It was stocked with waters.
A safe.
We had a safe to put our belongings in. We had nice, comfortable chairs and towels. You know, we did have shade covering when we did need that. You were kind of away from the pool itself, so if you wanted to just relax and, you know, enjoy, you know, just laying out, reading a book, which I did for a while, you know, you had your moments there. I would have used a TV had they had one. That would have been interesting to have a TV on so you could, you know, see what's on TV if you're watching a game or something. Again, the bar didn't, and the food didn't start till like 11 or 12. Was it 11 or 12?
I don't remember.
I think it was 11:30 maybe, actually. And so we, you know, it's not like we were able to like get like, you know, food brought over or order drinks or whatnot. So that was a little disappointing. I'm a big fan of the cabana situation.
Yeah, I did like that pool though. They had that really the area where you could literally just lay in the pool where it was shallow and had the little bubbles coming up.
The little bubbles?
And the water was heated. I enjoyed that pool.
You did enjoy that pool. There were multiple pools of this facility.
And that's the pool where Aiden spilt his virgin strawberry daiquiri
goodness.
3 times in our cabana.
That's true. So the night, I don't know where we went. We went to dinner on Monday night, and you ordered a strawberry daiquiri. And Addison looked at it, and she's like, "Oh, that looks yummy. That looks nice." And
it had a flower in it, and
pineapple, you know, the whole 9, right? And so we were like, "Hey, you know," so I said, "You know, you can get one, Addison. They make those, you know, just without any alcohol. You can get a strawberry daiquiri. It's basically just strawberry ice, you know, blah blah blah." And she was like, "Okay, good." So the next day at the pool, Wednesday at the pool, I ordered her a virgin strawberry daiquiri. So she drinks it and she was like, "This is good. Yes, I like, you know, it's flavorful. It's nice. It's wonderful." So Aiden comes, you know, trampling over and he's like, I want one. So $13 later, Aiden gets a strawberry daiquiri, virgin, of course. And then he proceeds to set his down like on the ground, knocks it over, spills half it out. So he's crying. He's upset about that. So we salvage like 1/4 of it. We put that in our little fridge, and then you know, an hour later he comes back to take it out, and he knocks that out of his hand too. So the entire $13 virgin strawberry daiquiri for Aiden ended up on the ground.
And he wanted to order another one.
And then he wanted one more, which we did not do.
But at that cabana, I did get the Hawaii 5-0. That was a good drink.
What was it?
That was
for
the
those
red.
Who aren't familiar.
It was red and blue. I have no idea what was.
It's red and blue. All right,
definitely had pineapple.
Red, blue with pineapple.
But it was good.
It was good. So you've got an endorsement for Stephanie on the Hawaii 5-0 red blue pineapple drink.
Yeah.
If you're ever
I tried to get each one of like the Hawaiian drinks.
The Hawaii drinks. Okay. Then Wednesday night we went to this luau.
It was hot.
It was so it's hot in the sense that so you get up. It's on like this rooftop of this hotel. It's like a convention center, and there's a stage and there's tables, and it starts at 5. And so there's a lot of high-rise hotel areas around there. So the sun's partially blocked in some areas, but partially not in the other. So they bring you in and they, sort of get you situated. And so this nice little usher guy comes up to Stephanie and says, where do you want to sit? And so she's like, well, I don't really know. And he basically points us to the only 2 tables that were in direct sunlight. Like literally, there was no shade anywhere near us. And he's like, you guys should sit here. It's the best seat in the house. So from 5 until about 6:45, your boy here and Addison just roasted in the sun. Like we literally had like papers in front of our face to block the sun. We were trying to like stand behind columns. And Stephanie just sat us literally on the sun for the entire luau.
Well, the guy had said, the sun will be away in a few minutes, and this is the best seat, front and center. If you can just take the sun for a few minutes, you'll appreciate it. So I believed him.
And that you did, wrong. And that you were. So we roasted in the sun for I don't know how long. Luau overall, disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't what I pictured as a luau.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you see the luau type thing on like movies and TV shows, and you expect something, and that just wasn't what it was. I mean, a lot of it was interpretive dance, and they were yelling, and they were, they had fire and that kind of stuff, and doing the hula stuff with the hips and the skirts and all that good jazz. But it wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be.
Yeah, the food was good, but the kids' choices for food was terrible.
Yeah, kid choices were terrible. We were, a lot of seafood. You're not a seafood person, but I tried some seafood, which is great. I don't get to eat.
Sushi.
I did try a bite of sushi. It wasn't. I don't know what was in the middle. I went back over and read it. I think it was the middle, whatever that middle portion was. I didn't like, but I don't remember what it was, but it was not good. But you don't like seafood. You don't cook seafood. We're not allowed to actually have seafood anywhere near us because you've never had it, and so you just have this theory that you're allergic to all of it for some reason.
I've never said I'm allergic. I just don't want to try it.
And so I was able to get some seafood, pasta salad, which was great. So it was food was all right. Yeah, food was good. But actually, probably the funniest part. So they give you free drink tickets when you get there. So you get each of us got a free drink ticket, and it's good from the bar. You could get soda, you could get juice, you could get alcoholic beverages, whatever you wanted. So each of us had a little free drink situation. So we get there after Addison and I picked our insides up from the ground from melting. We go and we each get one of our drinks, right? But it's hot. The sun's just making them hot, whatever. So halfway through the night, I guess we're probably about an hour or so left of the luau. The waiter guy comes around. He's asking anybody if they want drinks. People are ordering more stuff. I think I got one more drink at that point. And they come back over and they're like, hey, we're closing the bar down in 10 minutes. If you guys want anything, now's your chance. Well, we were out of our tickets, so we were fine. But he goes over to the people across from us and he's like, hey, we're closing the bar in 10 minutes. Like, if you want to use your drink ticket, you got to do it now. And for whatever reason, I don't know how, by the way, this family had probably a stack of 10 in their hand. Mm-hmm. So the lady was like, oh, well, crap, get me one more pina colada. And the guy was like, well, give me one more beer. And so the guy was like, okay. So they already had full drinks at that point. So I think they just wanted the plus ones, So they're stuck with 8 tickets. So the lady turns around and just looks at me and is like, here, do you guys want these? We have extra. And she just hands them to me. So I'm like, oh, my goodness. Well, thank you. Her husband was so mad.
Her husband's face. I was like, oh, my gosh.
I tried to give him back. I was like, do you want, I don't because I'm not going to use 8 anyway. I appreciate your confidence in me and taking 8 down here in 10 minutes, but I'm not going to be able to pull it off. He was so angry. I don't blame the guy, I guess. Maybe just give half to us. She gave us a stack full.
What happened was we got some for free. But if you weren't part of the Golden Circle or the Diamond Premiere, you had to pay for those tickets at where
but I think they were because they were at the red table.
True.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I don't know if you got more being at that table.
Maybe.
Well,
so
plus, there was
I wasn't sure if maybe he was mad you just threw our money away or what.
Yeah.
I was thinking she was cutting him off you're not allowed to drink anymore.
That's a good question. I don't know how many he had. So I couldn't take 8 down. I think I got one more. I got you a drink at that point, so we used 2 of them, and I tried to give the other ones away to the guy next to us, and he was like, "I'm all set." So we didn't even use all those tickets. But overall, luau was a pretty disappointing experience.
Yeah, especially because we could see the luau every night from our hotel room balcony.
Yeah. So
we kind of had already seen some of what was going on.
Yeah, I was expecting more hula skirting. I was expecting
more fire.
More fire. I guess I was kind of initially. I think I was expecting a pig roast.
I was too.
But then, if you do the math, they do it 4 nights a week. That's 260 pigs they have to roast a year. That seems inhumane. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the situation. Maybe they don't want to take a pig down every night.
Possible.
Maybe people frown upon that. I'm not really sure. I would have done that. We should have done a pig roast actually.
I did not see that
We're
as
getting
one
that
of the
one.
options.
Thursday rolls around, and so Thursday was water sport day. We went parasailing, and then we rented jet ski / wave runners, whatever you want to call those, as well. So we take this boat out to this boat, and then from this boat you take it to another boat. And so we started off with the parasailing.
Yes.
So Stephanie, do you want to describe parasailing for maybe people who aren't familiar with what that is?
Basically, you have a parachute attached to you, and the boat starts going, and you start going up in the air while the boat is moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get really good views of all around you from way up high in the sky.
Yeah, so you're basically sitting on like 10 gauge straps, yarn, line, whatever you want to call it. So it's not the most comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not the most secure, I guess. I mean, I guess it is secure, but it doesn't feel secure really,
Right.
because you really there's like 3 straps holding you so the guy on the boat told me when we got back that it was 500 feet. I don't know if that's true or not. He told me we were up 500 feet.
Yeah, there's an option for 500 feet or 800 feet. The 800 feet was more money.
Obviously. So he told us we were at the 500 mark. So here's the problem. I was not a fan. So one, Aiden decided to go with me, which was fine. The kids had a huge fight over who gets to go with who, but the guy essentially said the weight ratio between Aiden and I versus you and Addison would make it a little bit easier. So Aiden ended up with me, which is fine. So we get in this thing, and first things first. So they you're sitting on the back of the boat, and they start going, and so we're lifting off the ground, and then for some reason we just start shooting down towards the water, and we get dunked in the water. Right? We have life vests on. So I'm thinking holy crap, is this thing broken? This was an accident. They can't get this thing steered. I'm freaking out because I'm why are we in the water? Come to figure out after the fact that they do that to everybody, and apparently there was never any danger, right? I don't know that at the time. So we get up there. Aiden is freezing, and I'm looking over this thing, and I'm we are 500 feet in the air. What on earth am I going to do if something goes wrong here? If this thing just takes off and takes us away, or the line snaps, we're above ocean. How am I going to save Aiden? How deep is this water? Is he going to swim? Can I go get him? What if we get separated? I was not a fan of
He
parasailing.
thought it way too much because you guys had life vests on.
Yeah, but it's, again, I mean, Aiden's 6. He can't. Now, if I was with Addison, I may have been a little bit calmer because I would have realized she could probably swim a little bit and kept herself afloat. But I was much how am I saving Aiden? If he goes down, am I going to be able to get to him? If we get separated, how do I fall near him? Luckily, we were only up there for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It didn't seem like it was a very long time. And then we came down, which was fine. But I was not a fan.
And I was shocked he actually did it.
He did. He was actually calmer than I was. They were actually they took GoPro video. They strap it to the apparatus, I guess. But they charge $90 for you to buy that stuff.
Yeah.
Of which we didn't want to pay $90. I didn't see any of the video either. You could sit around and wait for it. I didn't do that. But he was probably calmer than I was for most of the experience.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. He was ready to go. I thought we'd have to coax him into going, and he was ready to go.
I don't think he knew what to expect. I don't think he was quite grasping it until we got up there, and then he kind of got a little nervous, but then I kept asking him questions or look at the water, dude, look how it's green and blue, and he's like, yeah, look at that. And then you and Addison went. How was your pair? You were not as scarred as I was.
No, I knew that the dunking was just part of when they're trying to turn the boat, and the only thing I didn't like is that we got dunked twice before we got up.
I don't know how that happened.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure how that happened.
And then we were up there, and Addison was freezing, and she was mad because she got water in her mouth.
My mouth was open, Albert. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. You guys saw us get dunked, right?
Yeah.
So the way this works, they were in the boat while Aiden and I were up there, and then obviously we switch, right? So you clearly had more knowledge at that point that they did that on purpose, right? And then you probably said to yourself, they're going to do that to us too. So you knew that was coming. Your boy here didn't know. I didn't know we were going waterside until we got in the water. So you guys knew it was coming to you. So I don't want to hear any excuse oh, we didn't. You knew it was coming. We really didn't know it was happening.
I was trying to keep my legs up as high as possible so that they wouldn't go in the water. But then he dunked us a second time, and I didn't know that one was coming.
You're welcome.
And so then we were up there, and it was fine, and we were talking about the water and everything, and Addison was not scared at all. And then on the way back, we got dunked twice again.
Yeah.
Because somebody decided to tell the driver to do that.
We were just asking questions how does that work? Can you just push a button? How do they end up in the water? And he was like, well, kind of like this. And so They were doing really nice job of just selling us on, how the mechanics work
Yes.
of the parasailing. I wasn't a fan though.
I was okay
If
with
I'd have
it.
been by myself, maybe I'd have felt better about it. But again, I was more like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to save Aiden. How in the hell am I gonna pull that off if like this thing takes off, or this thing all of a sudden like the slack breaks and and we have problems, or the boat engine like malfunctions. Like how am I gonna pull this off?
So I felt like that with Aiden on my jet ski.
Right. So afterwards, then we get on jet skis. So of course the kids have a huge fight again. So Aiden starts off with me. On the jet ski. So obviously it's your typical jet ski. They put you through this course though, right? So you have to like follow like these cones or these balls or whatever in the water, and it's basically a triangle. And there's a bunch of other people with us. So here's the first problem. Like I think there was like 8 people who went out at the same time we did. So basically the 8 of us are all like circling this track. 5 of them, I would think, had no idea how to drive this thing.
Probably had never been on a jet ski before.
And so, like, they're basically, they're pretty strict with the rules. Like, follow each other. No
space in between.
Make sure there's space. Don't drive next to each other. Safety first.
No jumping waves.
And so we get out, and like literally 5 people don't know how to drive this thing. So I'm kind of like, what am I allowed? They're not even on the course. They're going off the course. And so I'm like, what are we allowed to do here? So finally, I just start passing these people on the right, or on the left, I suppose, but I didn't get in any trouble for that, so I figured that was okay. But these people are going off course. I mean, they're just driving like all over the place, so there's just wake everywhere, and we're just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. They're pretty sharp turns that they made us take too. Again, it was in a triangle versus in like a circle. So you're taking a pretty sharp turn. So when I had Aiden, I was a little concerned that he would go falling off the boat, particularly on the turns. So I tried to keep the turns pretty tight and, pretty slow around there. But luckily, so the guy, again, another salesman thing, before we get on the jet skis, the guy's like, hey, did anybody bring goggles? And of course, they don't tell you to bring goggles, right? And we're like, no. And he's like, wow, we've got some here, $10 a person. And we're like, okay, sure, Chief. Yeah, $10 a person. He's like, look, I don't get any money off this. It's just, the water's really, really, really high today, really rough. People are just getting splashed, and some other people had just gotten off the wave runner, and they were like, yeah, we totally got splashed. So this guy ropes us into $40 worth of goggles, which, by the way, turned out to probably be the best investment we ever spent, by the way.
Which might have been why some of those people couldn't drive the jet skis.
That's possible. I mean, there was water just flying everywhere in your face. I mean, it was salt water. Like, we're talking like
super salty.
Like, it was probably maybe the top 2 saltiest water experiences of my life. I don't know the other one, by the way, but I'm figuring I've at least had one more salty experience. But that was a rough one.
Yeah, when you got out of the water, you could see the salt all over your skin.
So then we switch, and then you take Aiden, and I took Addison.
I had Addison first.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your experience on the wave.
So I love jet skiing, and I kind of like to be crazy on them. And
well, let's hold on. Can we just? I don't have my sounders ready. Let me just. I might need a sounder here because let me just dispute that. Just. I wouldn't say it's that you like to be dangerous.
I would say dangerous. I said crazy.
Crazy. I would say it's you have no idea how to drive the thing.
That's
like,
not true at all.
I think that is true. Like, you mechanically know like where the buttons are and stuff, but like I don't know that you understood like some of the logistical things. I understood to be
in the other person's wake and everything.
But you weren't.
But I was.
No, but you
when
weren't.
I could be, so that unless I was going to run into the person. But at one point, Addison went flying and her feet were up in the air, and I thought I had lost her. But I said to her, do you want me to slow down? And she was like, yes, please.
Yeah. Again, you just painted this picture of you being an experienced jet ski driver. Who
I was more experienced than the other people out there.
That's a low bar, but sure. You paint yourself as some experienced jet ski driver that is just into aerobatics and tricks, and I don't think that's how I would position that. I just have no fear of going fast. You have driven on jet skis before. However, I don't know that meant you knew how to appropriately drive them.
Okay,
that's all.
It was still fun.
It wasn't not, and then so we switched with Addison, so that I had Addison on the back for a little bit. A little easier. I felt more comfortable with her. I was able to go a little faster. I took the turns a little harder. We did jump a couple of wake waves, if you will, that came our way. But overall, I think the jet ski experience was probably everyone's favorite excursion of the day.
Yeah, the kids said that whole day was their favorite of the 3 days.
Yeah, and again, it's an experience that you probably don't get all the time. So it was nice to be be in the water. And again, it was super salty, but it was still a good experience. And we came back to the hotel afterwards. Didn't do much after that. We took
Aiden to the beach.
Took Aiden to the beach, and then we got our first Lyft Uber experience. We went down and had some dinner in a nice little touristy area, shoppy area there of the Honolulu Waikiki beach situation.
Adam loves a good yard house, and he found one in Honolulu or Waikiki.
Stone's throw away, 10 minutes away. So we were able to get down, got a nice little yard house situation in. Food was good.
They had an awesome Christmas store there too.
They had a lot of nice shoppies around there that we were able to venture out to. So it was a good experience. And then Friday we head back home.
It was a long day.
Long day, flight, a little delayed getting out of the airport there again. 1967 called. They want their airport back. We were like in some sort of a...
They said we were 8,000 pounds overweight on the airplane, so they had to redo all the paperwork. Yeah. I've never heard that before.
I thought Bobo was on that flight, but apparently, I don't know. I think we left pretty quickly though after that. Like he painted it to be a much longer delay. We got back to the airport. We had to figure out how to get back to our car because we left it someplace we didn't think we were going to leave it. But ultimately, we got that all figured out, and we got back to our vehicle. But the drive home took some time, so it was like a 1 a.m.
The kids hadn't had lunch or dinner. Home. They were hungry.
Kids were there. They were hungry. But overall, a pretty good Hawaiian experience, I would say. I mean, probably not planning a trip back anytime soon.
I would go to Maui.
Here's the thing.
Adam won't allow that.
It was expensive AF. But the other thing is, like, we're from South Florida. We've been lucky enough to go to South Florida. We've been to the Bahamas. We've been to Jamaica. We went to San Diego last year. Like, I had to remind myself at points that we were actually in Hawaii. Like, there was nothing there that, like, I was like, oh my gosh, we're in Hawaii. Like, I just didn't feel that way.
If we had more money and one more day, I would have liked to see the volcanoes and the waterfalls, and I think then we would have felt more in Hawaii.
Perhaps, yeah. The problem is you always make us vacation at, like, beach.
Yes, because there's no beach here that's warm.
We used to live in Florida, and there was beaches that were warm, and you still made us vacation. So it's just, don't act like
but now I really like to do that.
Yeah, not so much, but yeah, it was nice. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like, don't cry for us or anything. But I had to remind myself a couple different times that we were actually in Hawaii because you didn't feel, Hawaii, because you didn't feel that way.
Not me. I was good.
I did not. The other thing I was interesting, everyone there very friendly, very nice. A lot of alohas, a lot of mahalos. You get that everywhere, aloha, mahalo. Wasn't sure if we were supposed to say it back to people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's patronizing. Like, if you're from another culture or country or something, like, and someone says something to you, are you supposed to repeat it back in your native tongue? Like, if someone, from Latino or Hispanic descent says, goodbye, do you say gracias? Like, is that offensive? Is that patronizing? Do they like that? I don't know.
Yeah, we should have asked somebody.
Well, maybe anybody on here knows. Like, what's the protocol there? If you're visiting or you're around other cultures, and are you supposed to use their lingo? Do they like that? Or, should we have said mahalo for everything and aloha instead of hello? Or would they have just been like, dude, you're white, we get it. I don't know. There was a lot of Korean families there. Yeah, that was interesting. So that's our first vacation, I think, where, like, typically my Spanglish can get me by. Like, I understand a lot, but there was very few Hispanic or Latino people around there. It was mostly Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and I couldn't help at all. I had no idea what was going on. And it was weird that we're used to seeing everything translated in Spanish under the English. Everything was translated in Korean under the English. Yeah. So that was definitely different. Took some getting used to for sure. Yeah. But yeah, overall, again, good trip. I mean, for what we paid for it, I mean, I don't know if I would say we exactly got our money's worth, but I enjoyed the experiences. I would say my favorite was probably UTV, then the Wave Runner, then the Cabana, even though it was a little disappointing. I still like a good lounge situation, and then probably parasailing, and then the luau. Yeah, the luau was last on my list. I should have picked a different one. I picked that one because it was at the hotel. Well, on the bright side, I'm sure you're planning our next Hawaiian vacation in like 6 years. So I'm sure we'll get that right again next time. To Maui we go. I don't know about all that. But so that's our Hawaiian recap. I think we covered pretty much everything. I don't know if we forgot any of the great moments there. I think we got all of Stephanie's greatest hits involved. You didn't do the hotel key. I did not do the hotel key. So last day, early morning. Here's the thing. So Stephanie she made us pack like a suitcase full of food. And her thinking was like, food's expensive there, which by the way, it is. And she was thinking like, hey, in the morning, or we would just grab something out of the suitcase, some cereal, some breakfast bars, some protein bars, and we'd eat that and save ourselves money on breakfast. I don't think we did that one day, by the way, because every day you made us go get breakfast. But on the Friday, we knew we had a long flight. So Steph was like, okay, we got to go downstairs and eat. We got to go to the buffet and, get a big breakfast in and yada, yada, yada. We do that. Walking out of the room, I say, all right, Steph, you got the room key? And she was like, I got the room key. We go downstairs. We enjoyed the buffet, in which our kids ate nothing but like 2 donuts, and that cost us like $30 somehow. And they were hungry like 10 minutes later. But so we do all of that. And then we get back to the hotel room, and we're trying the card, and it won't open the door. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, well, wait a minute. I'm thinking, okay, we do have to check out today. Like, did they already like kick us out? Right. Like, we still have some time here. So Steph's just trying this card, gives it to Addison. She's trying the card. Card won't open the door. I say, Steph, let me see the card for a second. Hands over the card. We were at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, but she handed me the card for the Holiday Inn Express that we stayed in San Francisco. So we were locked out of our hotel room for reasons known only to Stephanie. Again, she kept the hotel key card from the previous hotel.
Who had taken all of the keys and put them together in a pile.
Oh no, let's back the bus up for a second here. Why did we have the hotel key for the Holiday Inn Express?
I don't know.
You leave that in the room when you're done, or you throw it away. Yeah. I don't know why you saved it.
I didn't even know I had it still.
So we had to sit outside for I don't know how long and wait for
security.
Some nice security guy to come back and let us into our room so we could pack our stuff up.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
We also had a family that was with us like on a bunch of excursions. So like I forget the movie, but this was like a movie where like the same family like follows you everywhere. Mm-hmm. This family like followed us everywhere, and they were not very nice.
No, they had very bad language too.
They were not nice. When we got on the bus to go to the water sports, apparently we were in the front seats, and they gave us dirty looks for that. And then they were also in the same boat on our way out to the jet ski situation, and they didn't like us there either. So interesting. We had a little rival family down there.
Yep. And then they were at the beach afterwards. When I was at the beach afterwards with Aiden.
Beach afterward. And then actually the funniest thing, they were on the bus on our way back to the airport, and the bus driver was kind of not in the mood for anything. And so everyone's on the bus, everyone's ready to go. And a lady comes to the door. I can only hear her voice. And she was like, is this the bus? Can we take the 10:30? And he was like, it's the 10:15 bus or something like that. Well, we leave at 10:40. Can we get on? And he goes, hurry up. And sure enough, it was that family.
And she was like, we have a lot of luggage, though.
They did have a lot of luggage. And that was the family. So a little rival family.
Yep.
And that's about all I got.
It was a good trip.
It was a good trip. All right. Well, Stephanie succinctly sums up our Hawaiian experience, and so we appreciate you listening to that part. We'll come back. We'll do a quick little news hour here, and then we'll get you out of here. I know it's been pretty long. We appreciate your self-indulgent patience as we explain all of Stephanie's greatest hits on our Hawaiian vacation. But stay tuned for more.
My dad tells my mom what's going on in the world. This should go well.
All right, I will explain the news to Stephanie in a second. But first, I actually want to share a life update, Steph. I was telling you this earlier. A little 30-day challenge I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll invite all the listeners to try with me. I don't know. So it's about 30 days until football season. So just like regular football players, you got to get in shape. You got to get ready for football season, right? You got to make sure that you are able to handle the grind Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, Thursdays. There's a lot going on.
Football all the time.
It's exhausting, but so I'm gonna do a little 30-day challenge. Obviously, we were just in Hawaii. The food consumption, the liquid consumption was certainly at an apex, if you will, for myself. I don't know about you, and so I'm gonna take the next 30 days here and do a little get it right, get it tight situation.
Sounds like a plan to me.
But I'm gonna try something I've never tried before with my diets. Well, at least, yes, I don't think I've ever done this specifically. Now I'm gonna.
Not for 30 days.
Caveat, yeah. So 30 days. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on my diet. So it's a diet I learned from our former trainer, our good buddy Rod. Super easy, simple to follow. It's not the best tasting diet in the world, but basically it's a lot of grass-fed beef and very little carbs and sugar.
Vegetables.
It's an offshoot of like the keto program. I've been on it before. It works. So I know it works. That's why I can go to it. But here's what I'm going to try to do, Steph.
What are you going to do?
30 days. No beer.
Wow. I think you'll see a lot of change just from that.
Now, your guy here loves himself a nice frosty cold one. Now, instead swap it for maybe a healthier alternative.
See, I don't know. That's going to help.
Well, so typically what we do is I do a cheat night, right? A night where I get to cheat and eat a meal I'd like. So as opposed to eating like a plate of nachos and a couple of Bud Lights, I'm going to try to strictly stick to either the White Claw or the Truly, which essentially is like booze-flavored water. And maybe even some white wine. Who knows? I've become a fan of white wine.
So the 5 to 6 other days of the week, you will be alcohol-free.
Loosely, yes. Yeah.
Then I can see that.
That's the plan. So we're gonna give it a shot. 30 days. We started today with a good workout. I got a good workout in. I walked you through some Tabata today, Steph. So I'm gonna try to keep the workouts more consistent. Maybe more planful. And see, I took some measurements today. I'm not going to share those here because they're not the friendliest numbers in the world. And we'll see how this goes. If anyone wants to join me on this 30-day journey, feel free to hop along. I can share with you what I'm proposing to do or how I'm going to do it. I know Stephanie won't because she's just not a fan of that kind of stuff. But
I'm still eating clean. I took my measurement around my waist this morning as well.
Okay. So we'll see.
I don't really drink alcohol, so I don't have that problem.
We'll see.
Except for when we're on vacation.
That's fair. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll post some updates on our Instagram or Facebook page. Maybe some of the workouts that I'm doing. I do a much different style workout than when Stephanie does in her boot camp situation. So maybe we can post some of those. So it's a little life update. Figure get it right, get it tight. 30 days. Let's see what happens. 30 days till UCF kickoff.
Your big thing is going to be if you have a bad day of work.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to get past that. I need a cold beer and a glass of Cheez-Its or a cup
Fair.
of Cheez-Its.
I do love me some Cheez-Its, but that's where, again, I'm going to try to make my thinking here is that a modification or substitution would be better than the original, right? So if I come home and had a long day at work and I wash it down with a quick little, blueberry acai White Claw, that's probably better than a cold Bud Light, right?
I think so. Is the sugar different?
2 grams of sugar in the White Claw Truly situation. Beer technically has no like actual sugar, but there's like sugar enzymes, I assume, in the wheat.
Isn't there carbs in beer?
Plenty of carbs, yeah.
Because carbs are sugar, basically.
Yeah. So again, it's not traditional sugar like you're assuming it. So the sugar count and the carb count are probably lower on the Truly White Claws. I'm actually not sure they're healthier for you.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
I don't know. I feel like they are. Actually, someone should Google that. Somebody let me know. Are White Claw / Truly, are they... First of all, is anybody out there drinking those? Because that's like the new 2019 thing.
Everyone is drinking those or the Corona
Frescas?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've got really weird... I saw those. They got really weird flavors, though. It's like
flavor.
mango, guava, and something like that. I'm not sure if that's me. I'm open to any ideas, though. So if anyone's out there is drinking something a little lighter... maybe on the healthier side. I'm not a liquor person. A lot of people do liquor stuff. I didn't have a drop of liquor. I think I had that one Mai Tai they gave us for free at the... I didn't even finish that thing. So I'm not a liquor person per se. So that's just me. So that's a little life update.
It's a good life update.
I'll share that with everybody.
We'll check back in 30 days.
You do that, Steph. Why don't you check in on the news story? I know you found one today. You were really excited about it. So we'll try to get through. I know it's a longer episode already. Hopefully, hang in there, everybody. Hang in there with us. But I know you're really excited about this one. You thought this one was just the bee's knees, if you will. So please, the floor, it belongs to you. All
right. So I was reading in the news today, and basically there's a community on Reddit. Is that who you say?
It is Reddit, yeah.
And I'm not going to say what it's called because it has a bad word in it. But
it's a-hole.
Am I the a-hole?
There you go.
And it's described as a place to finally find out if you're wrong in an argument that's been bothering you. So basically you post, something that happened to you and you want to know what other people think. So this waiter posted that she gave a pregnant customer virgin cocktails.
Waitress.
Well, it says waiter. Anyways, the waitress gave a pregnant customer virgin cocktails when she ordered alcoholic ones. And she said... is she in the wrong by doing that? And the reason she's saying that is because she actually got in trouble for doing it. And it could actually get the restaurant in trouble because of the laws saying that is discriminating against a pregnant person. So apparently she heard the person say that she was 14 weeks along and she continued to kind of like eavesdrop and they were continuing to talk about the pregnancy. And so basically... after the person, she'd given her the first cocktail with alcohol, not knowing that the person was pregnant. And then this person ordered another one, so she asked the bartender to please make it a virgin one. And every time this person ordered another drink, she had the bartender make it a virgin one. Well, so she thought she was fine until I guess the bill showed that they were virgin drinks because they cost less money. And so the person who was ordering the drinks got really upset and went to the manager and obviously got the waitress put on leave. So she went on Reddit to see, like, you know, am I the one that was in the wrong here? Should I have just been serving her alcohol even though she was pregnant? Because we all know that alcohol does affect pregnancies. And so basically the people are telling her that she's in the wrong. And so I would love to know what you guys think. Is she in the wrong? Should she have just, you know, done what she was supposed to? Some people have suggested that maybe she should have just gone to her manager from the beginning. Maybe she should have refused to serve her. Or people don't know, like maybe she was talking about another pregnancy. Maybe she was planning on not keeping this pregnancy. And that it's not her job to, like, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Take it into her own hands.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So.
Sorry, I didn't hear a lot of that. I was counting the amount of throat clears you had there. But
well,
here's what I need more information, if you have it. Do we know what kind of drinks she was ordering and how many of them they were?
It does not say the kind of drinks. It just said.
Was she was with somebody else?
She was with a group of women.
Okay.
Who were all ordering alcohol. So they could see, and she was supposedly talking about this pregnancy.
Okay.
And then you would think that the other people would have told her, like, if she really was pregnant, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, I guess you could assume maybe they would do that, but I don't know. This is a tough one, really, because I certainly think this is a situation where the waitress was trying to do the right thing and was trying to be a good person, but I understand the legal ramifications of what potentially could happen because of what she decided, right? It's the challenge working today is sometimes, you know, doing the right thing can get you or your business in trouble, right? You know, right. It feels like the right thing to do. It used to happen to me a ton when I was working in retail stores. People would lock their dog in the car. And other people would want to come in and demand we call the police and break the windows and stuff like that. And while that is the right good Samaritan thing to do, damaging someone's vehicle obviously wasn't a good thing to do for the business. So I can understand what the waitress was trying to accomplish, but I also can understand why that would be problematic. Where I guess I'm a little where I'd be interested to learn. I don't know the laws on this, but what if, regardless of pregnancy, right? If the lady or anybody had been clearly intoxicated, there are stipulations that say that bars, I believe, can stop serving people who are clearly intoxicated, right? That would, it seemed to me, also be discriminatory, right? You're discriminating against somebody and saying, I'm not going to serve that person because they have a condition, and this condition would be drunk. Yeah,
but they could also go to jail or get in trouble for continuing to serve them when they're drunk.
I wonder where the differentiator is here between that and the pregnant woman. Now, obviously, I guess there is a scenario by which I suppose this lady could get hammered off these drinks, go home 9 months later, have a child that maybe has some sort of a challenge syndrome, and go back and say, hey, you know, the bar I drank one time when I was pregnant at this one location, they must have overpoured or overserved me that night, and that's the problem, and they could be in trouble for that. I don't know. You could sue for anything, really, right? I don't know how that would come out. I would need to research the law on that. I'm not going to, but I would need to. But I can understand why she did what she did, but I also see why it's problematic. I don't know what telling them. I love everyone. So unless you work in a retail environment or someplace where you're in charge, I always love to tell the manager thing, because the manager then has to make the exact same decision, right? What is the manager going to say? The only difference is the manager is the manager. Right. So so if he was like, hey, this lady's pregnant, I don't want to serve her. Like, can you go over and talk to her? What's the manager going to do? Hey, ma'am, are you pregnant? Because if you are, we're not allowed to serve you. He can't say that. Right. So he would have had to have been like, okay, serve her, and, you know, let's just deal with it. Like, I don't know what the manager would have done to make the situation any different.
Well, a few people pointed out that the server was effectively planning to steal from this woman since virgin drinks are cheaper, and the server was hoping the bartender would ring them in as alcoholic. But she's not making the money off that. This restaurant would have been.
Yeah, I mean, unintended consequence on that one. Like, sure, mathematically speaking, yes, she would have had them ring the drinks in that way, I suppose. And perhaps her tip would have been elevated because the bill would have been elevated, but doesn't sound like that was the master plan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that was what she was trying to do. I think she was honestly trying to do the right thing and, try and keep the baby safe when she doesn't know. And it went against her. I could see it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would have done in that situation, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, I guess people are free to make their own choice. If that lady was going to come in and drink, she knew the risks of that. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting conundrum to think about. There's a host of things that people do each and every day that are probably unsafe or that aren't smart or that aren't correct. And, what do we as society owe each other in that circumstance, right?
I teach a class about prenatal development, and
this sounds riveting.
Part of it is they're learning about all the different things that can affect pregnancies, including alcohol. And what surprises me is my students will actually write in the discussion board, like, I wish I had known some of this stuff before, like when I was pregnant originally, like my child has fetal alcohol syndrome or my child has this, like I wish I had known, about these kind of things while I was pregnant. And it kind of shocks me when people write that you don't know about. So maybe the person didn't even know, like some people say, oh, you can drink until your second trimester. It won't affect the baby.
Isn't there some research that says you can have like a glass of red wine or something like that, and it's supposedly healthy for you? I don't know.
I don't know if that research goes with being pregnant.
I don't drink red wine, nor do I ever have been pregnant. So I don't know if all that's true. I thought I've heard that someplace. So. Well, I mean, it could happen. Like you could be pregnant, not know it, right? And be out drinking for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden one day be like, oh my goodness, I'm a child. I mean, so I guess it happens. I mean, I don't know that I would say that people aren't educated on what can happen, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a larger societal question on what you're supposed to do when you see something wrong happening, right? Are you supposed to interject? Are you supposed to, step in and do something, or do you let folks make their own judgment?
Yeah, it's hard.
There's not a lot of rules on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that was a fantastic story, though.
Thanks.
I appreciate you bringing that to everybody's attention. We all need to know that. Probably the only story we'll do today, right? It's already getting kind of longer here. Even the annoyances, I feel like I've gotten a few of mine out. So mine would be the Hawaii airport being vastly under the times, if you will, and also what to do in scenarios where you're in places where people speak a certain lingo. Are you supposed to use that same lingo? Is that offensive? I don't really know. I found that to be a little interesting, the entire experience. So if you have an answer for me on that, I'd appreciate it. So if you have an annoyance other than not getting to sleep.
Besides the not getting to sleep, it was a little bit annoying, like just how expensive everything was on our trip.
Was it, Stephanie? Was it annoying to you? Were you annoyed? You seemed visibly frustrated at times as you were ordering the breakfast buffet 3 days a week.
We did not do that 3 days a week. We did it twice.
We did twice, yes. You seem visibly annoyed through all that stuff.
I'm visibly annoyed as I look at the credit card bill.
Yeah. Again, who was the one who said maybe Hawaii's not for us? Maybe we find something a little bit more fiscally responsible.
You did, but it's a once in a lifetime thing. We did it. It's over.
Is it a once? I mean, it is a once in a lifetime experience, and that we're not doing it again in our lifetime.
Do it.
But like we could have had an equally good experience other places, though. No. Like, so I guess we can go to Cabo. My contention with with another beach place, my contention with all of this is that the outset of this, you made it seem as though Hawaii is a once in a lifetime experience that we'll never get elsewhere. And coming out of it, while it was a great experience and we had fun, and we did some things that we've never done before with the children, and they had some great experiences. I don't know that's a once in a lifetime deal. We could probably go elsewhere and go parasailing and jet skiing. I don't know about UTVs. I'd have to research that more often, but I'm assuming you can go elsewhere and do that kind of stuff. That's my only contention with it, is you make it seem like at one time in your life, you've got to be here. Like you've got to go. Everyone does it. And maybe we went to the wrong island. Maybe we didn't go to the right spot. Maybe we didn't get the true Hawaiian experience. Our spot was very Americanized, really. I mean, not that it's not in America to begin with, right? But it was very, somebody described it to me like Waikiki is kind of like going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I could kind of see that, like how that is, how that would work,
Yeah. And I also learned, well, I mean, I already knew this about you, but Adam and Addison do not like the beach. And that really hinders Aiden and I because we love the beach. So tropical location is only for 50% of our family.
I don't mind the beach if I can set my own rules.
Like if we had beach chairs and an
beach
umbrella?
chairs, umbrella.
We could have, but that would have cost money.
I don't have to pay, right, to get my own beach chair, my own umbrella. We can bring a cooler with our own snacks, our own drinks. We can have a shade covering if we so choose. If I can set my own rules, I would be a little bit better off.
Yeah, you weren't even allowed alcohol on that beach.
Here, you basically had to rent a chair, which I don't even know how much that money costs, and you had to rent an umbrella. You couldn't bring food and drink onto the beach, so you couldn't even. I don't think you could bring regular food and drink onto the beach.
You could. It's just no alcohol.
If I could have set my own rules, that would be a little different for sure.
And one thing I did not like, which I didn't expect, and maybe it was just the beach that we were at, if you try and walk in the water, there's so many rocks, it kills your feet.
I went running along that beach on Wednesday when you and Addison went upstairs to get something or went to look for the cabana. I went jogging barefoot on the shoreline. Yeah, you had to head on a swivel, man. Head on a swivel.
It was painful. At one point, Aiden was out in the water too far, and he wouldn't come in, and I tried to go out to the water to get him, and it was killing me.
Yeah, if you could have brought the cabana that we had and put it on the beach,
yeah,
then you got something for me. Then I'm in. Then because I could be under the cabana, like on the beach near the water. If I want to get up and go into the water or the sand, I could do that. If I want to go back and sit and have covering, I could do that. That'd be what I need. So I don't dislike the beach. There's just nothing to do. Like after you, okay, well, I'm in the water. Okay, I've been in the sand. It's hot. Okay, what do I do now? Like I'm spoiler alert for those who don't know me, I'm not one to tan, so that doesn't really help me. If anything, it's not like I'm out there working on my tan. So there's nothing to do. Like give me something to do, and I'd be more apt to enjoy the beach.
Yeah, I wanted to rent the paddle boards, but they were expensive too.
Wading in the water up to my chest, like with the salt water and the seaweed hit me, and the rocks are moving around, and yeah, who knows what else is in that water? Yeah, that's just not me, man.
Yeah, I learned that.
You knew that already, though. That's just...
I learned that about Addison, though, too. She also did not like it.
Yeah, I think she shares many of the same common sense abilities that I share.
Sensibilities?
That's what I said. Yeah, I think that's just... she's very smart for her age. Very, very smart, very wise. 12-year-old. So I'm sure Stephanie is vastly planning our next vacation, so stay tuned to figure out how that's going to work out.
I have a whole year.
Do you? You have a whole year, do you? All right, well, that's exciting news. All right, well, I guess we're done, right? Do you have anything else you want to say, Steph?
No, that's it.
Okay, your 10-word quota has been met for the show. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And make sure you download this thing, people, and tell some friends. I know this was a rather, again, self-indulgent episode. We talked a little bit about ourselves pretty much the entire time. Maybe that's better. Maybe that's worse. I don't really know. But we'll try to get back here next week. We'll give you an update on the 30-day challenge, how that's working out for everybody. I'm sure Stephanie will find more of these great news stories that have piqued her interest that we can share with you, and other life updates. School's coming around the corner.
Yes, a week and a half.
So
Yay!
Stephanie will be very excited to send her kids back to school so she can sit home all day and
work.
Do whatever it is that she does. So until then, have fantastic life experiences. Everybody be happy, be safe, and I guess we'll talk to everybody maybe next week.
Bye.